Hey guys, Stef here. Should you learn SQL in 2018? Short answer is yes. All right, end the video. Okay, just kidding. I'm going to do a little bit more. SQL is the structured query language, SQL. It's the language of databases. Specifically, it's the language of relational databases. If you're building a web app, there is a 99.4% chance that you're going to be using a relational database. It could be MySQL, it could be SQL Server, it could be whatever, Firebase, there's others out there. Most of the time people are using MySQL. Now, the reason I mention this is because it kind of gets lost in the mix in terms of web app development. People kind of, as an afterthought, think about databases. But in fact, they should be really respected because the speed of your app most of the time will be largely determined by how well you design your database structure. I had a recent incident where essentially a small clerical error was made with one of the database tables key to the StudioWeb educational app. And because of this, essentially a clerical error, I won't go into the details here, it was basically not applying proper indexes to a table. If you know your databases, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, because of that, the app was running super slow, and I was putting tons and tons of CPU onto it and RAM, and it was still running, it was starting to run really slow because of all these new students, schools jumping on board. So I decided to just take a look at the database tables, and to my surprise, whoa, somebody made a mistake, didn't index the tables properly. So I took the 3 minutes to index the table. This is one of these things where you spend like couple hours, 2-3 hours diagnosing the problem, and then you realize the problem, then it comes down to just 2-3 minutes to fix the problem. You see that a lot in software development. Anyhow, so I just applied these indexes to the table, database table, tables where you store lots of information, store your records, and applying the index took 2-3 minutes, and bing, bang, boom, Bob's your uncle, all of a sudden, phew, super fast. So yes, pay a bit more attention to SQL and databases in 2018, especially if you're learning web app development. Having well-optimized databases, having them structured properly can really speed up your app and increase the longevity of your app. Again, I mention this because for a lot of people, I get the impression they don't give the database enough attention, enough love, as they say. You gotta, it's a part. It's a significant part of it. And in fact, going back to my experience back to the 1990s, one of the most expensive thing in terms of processor power and just your apps, your server's power, is opening up connections to the database, communicating with the database. So we used to design our code to minimize that, and there's different strategies you can use, different caching and so on. Anyhow, I won't get into that here, but again, in 2018, don't fool yourself. Databases, relational databases, which is the most popular type. There's several types of databases. There's object databases, there's flat file databases, and there's relational databases, there's other types as well. Relational databases are still hugely important, so pay attention to that. So once you get past your basics, if you're doing the web stack, your HTML5, CSS3, some JavaScript, and then you choose your server-side programming language, whether it be PHP or Python or Java, C# or Ruby, then you got to get into some databases, understand what it's all about, understand how to create efficient databases and how to leverage the tools within the database software, the database server software, that's going to be processing and delivering the database, the data rather, to your apps. And you'll be served very well by that. All right, I hope you found this quick little tip useful.